And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. This is Paralegal Reacts channel. Make sure you check down below to see if you're subscribed. If not, hit that subscribe button. And make sure you give us a like for this video, y'all. We really appreciate it. Now, y'all, today what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be following up on the drivers who are on our roads who don't even have permission to be in the country, much less. Well, that's the funny thing about it. Sometimes they actually do have permission to drive because that comes on a state level, while getting permission to be in the countries on a federal level. The federal government does not directly control who can drive and who can't. The states do. So we're going to see now that in Arizona, there were 270 plus people pulled over and pulled off of the roads for failing roadside English tests. And we're going to be going through about 4 stories today, y'all. So just sit back and relax. We're going to be going and getting kind of a survey of what's happening. California's losing $40 million because they will not, look, we don't care if people know English, okay? You can't make people have to know English in order to get a California CDL. So they're losing the money. We have Uber drivers who are being arrested. Just sit back and relax, y'all. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
The Trump administration is serious about these roadside English proficiency tests. It just withheld $40 million in funding for California, saying the state is the only one knowingly not enforcing a requirement that commercial truck drivers can speak and read English. Arizona's family has learned 274 commercial truck drivers in Arizona have been pulled off the road since June for failing those roadside proficiency tests. The Department of Transportation says they want to make sure truck drivers are able to read road signs and can communicate with law enforcement. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the exams are needed, pointing to an incident that happened in August in Florida, where a commercial truck driver made an illegal U-turn on the freeway, resulting in the death of 3 people.
So my question is this: why would Gavin Newsom in California, why would he resist this or ignore this? This is for safety. This is for coherence in order to make sure that there's some kind of coherent policy across the entire United States. Most states, they care that you know how to read the road signs. So what would be is this a political thing? Why would Gavin Newsom in California, or whoever he has in charge of this, why would they be resisting helping to make sure the roads are safe?
That driver was an Indian national who was in the country illegally but still obtained a commercial driver's license in Washington State and California. While the Transportation Department says roadside tests are needed, analysts say there's actually no correlation between English proficiency and accidents involving commercial truck drivers. Some worry Latino drivers, who make up more than 15% of the industry, will be unfairly targeted by law enforcement officers administering those tests. In the newsroom, Karina Rubio for Arizona's Family.
So is that what it all comes down to? Does it all come down to the idea that certain groups of people know how to speak English and certain groups of people are less likely to speak English? So let's not have English. Let's not have the predominant language of the country. The road signs are in English. Most of the police officers speak English. Let's not have that as a requirement, because there's some groups of people who are less likely to speak English, and that might be a detriment to them. Is that where we're going with this? Now we're gonna take a look at another kind of related story, but it's from a different angle, where Border Patrol is in Chicago and actually is raiding the airport for people who are driving Uber but are in the country without permission.
Rideshare drivers at O'Hare Airport targeted again by federal agents today. We first reported about the same thing happening just about a week ago. Victor Jacobo is following this story for us here at 10. He's live in the control room. Victor, what do we know about what happened today exactly?
Yeah, Chris, officials say about a dozen people at a parking lot designated for rideshare drivers near O'Hare Airport were detained by federal agents. The same thing happened about 8 days ago, and groups representing rideshare drivers say they are concerned. This Citizen app video shows federal agents patrolling a lot designated for rideshare drivers near O'Hare Airport and interrogating people there. In a statement, a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security confirmed the incident, saying Border Patrol conducted a targeted operation near Chicago O'Hare Airport parking lots that resulted in the arrest of 11 illegal aliens. DHS goes on to say people from 8 different countries were among those arrested and had alleged criminal histories, including domestic battery, DUI, visa overstay, and a final order of removal. DHS did not provide names of those detained to CBS News Chicago, so we are unable to verify the records.
These are drivers that are essential to every single one of our communities.
Bailey Koch is a spokesperson for the Illinois Drivers Alliance, representing rideshare drivers. Koch says the organization is working to help those impacted.
We are trying to locate where they're at, where their families are at, and try to get them as many resources as we can, on top of ensuring that this doesn't continue to happen.
Okay, so one, always you should protect people's rights, right? If you have a right, it should be protected. First of all, it should be respected by the government. Second of all, whenever there's some dispute, it's always good to have different organizations that will help you with your rights. With that said, what right does a person who does not have permission to be in the country, what right do they have to drive Uber? All right, I'll wait. Drop it down in the comments, okay? You're in the country. You have no permission to be here. Do you have a right to drive Uber? You have a right to, of course, you do have many rights. Many rights. You have freedom of speech. You have the right to practice the religion of your choice. You have a right to do many things in the United States, even if you're here without permission. Driving Uber, I don't believe is one of those things. So I don't know what this organization is really going to be able to do. If the people are in the country and they do have permission and they were picked up erroneously, of course, right? But if they don't have permission to be in the country, I don't think they get to stay here as long as they drive Uber, but I could be wrong about that. And finally, y'all, we're going to take a look at Secretary of Transportation Duffy. He is the person who's overseeing this. Not what we just saw there. That was a ICE, a Border Patrol initiative, but the public highways, Secretary Duffy, he's the one who is saying, look, you need to speak English. You need to be in the country with permission. And if your state is not going to help us uphold this, we're going to fine you or we're going to take money away from you. So look at what he just posted a few days ago about this. Now, listen, I don't like singling people out. OK, I'm not trying to single this guy out. This is an anecdote. I believe that most drivers, no matter where you're from, no matter what your legal status is, most drivers are probably decent drivers, okay? So I don't think people are necessarily worse drivers because of where they come from. Now, some of these countries have some pretty rough driving, okay? I've driven now. I have experience. So depending on where you're from, that's all I'm gonna say. But this is an anecdote. Secretary Duffy posted it, and let's take a look.
Police in Portage, Indiana, investigating a deadly crash that left one person dead, another arrested. Police say a semi-driver, Brako Stankovic here, swerved into oncoming traffic, hitting a Subaru head-on. The 54-year-old driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators say Stankovic did not have a valid commercial driver's license and was using a suspended license belonging to a family member. He is now charged with reckless homicide, among other charges. He's being held on an ICE detainer due to his immigration status. Police in Portage.
So why do we talk about this one? The reason why is because this is posted by Secretary Duffy, and I think it's just an example of the fact that he as a reflection of the Trump administration, he's very serious about this. I mean, he's posting individual instances where someone in the country without permission is driving. In this case, the allegation is not only didn't he have his own license, but he's using somebody else's license, which was also already suspended. I mean, that's the allegation, right? It's showing that Duffy is really serious about this. He's posting these individual situations to his own X account or to his official X account. Has 208,000 views over the past few days. So it looks like the word is getting out there. So I'm just going to give you my opinion, right? My opinion is, if you're in the country without permission, first of all, it would be great if there were some way to sort people out and say, who would we want to stay and who wouldn't we want to stay? I mean, the violent criminals would be the first people we don't want to stay. But the big problem is when you create a legal path for people who are here, you disadvantage people who are following the process and waiting their turn and waiting in line. I'll give you an example. When you apply to come to the United States as a sister or brother of a person who lives here, do you know that the wait times can be 15 years? So you apply as a 25-year-old and you might not get here. If you ever get to come, you might not get here till you're 40 years old or older. So what happens when that person is following the process, spending hard-earned money that in their country could be, you might spend half a year's salary on these processes or more. And you're waiting 15 years while somebody just hopped over the border, evaded ICE for a little while, and now we're like, oh well, let's give that person amnesty. That's the problem, right? I would love if there were a way to just regularize people, but you automatically disadvantage the people who are doing things the right way. That is the difficulty I face as I think about this. And so definitely people who are here without permission, in my opinion, giving them driver's licenses, again, it's a benefit, it's a privilege, and it further, in my opinion, disadvantages people who are doing things the right way, who are paying in their country, who are waiting in line. You're giving people benefits who are doing things the wrong way. So, but then you say, well, they're going to drive anyway. So shouldn't we at least know who they are? So, I can see it from different angles. Y'all, let me know what you think about this down in the comments. But before we do, y'all, this is our second channel. This is the PIW Reacts channel. So please help us out. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And again, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe down below. I want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. We'll see you back in the next one.